Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Sadie, and today I wanted to talk a little bit more about the boob job stuff because it seems like it's been really helpful so far, and I've got a lot of good response from it, so I have a little bit more to share, more so on the things that I wish I knew before I went through and obviously did this. Also, just wanted to give a quick disclaimer on that. There is nothing serious, there's nothing that I really, would have stopped me from doing this at all. It's just things that I think would be useful to know that maybe aren't commonly known before going into this. And it's obviously some of it is just my experience personally. But I just thought they'd be some good things to share, and hopefully they will be helpful. So first of all, for a little bit of background, I got my surgery done on the 14th of November. It is now the 2nd of February. So we are, 2.5 months post-op now. And I've got a few videos on this already. So I've got my actual surgery day video, which I vlogged the whole thing, obviously as much as I was able to, and I've done a Q&A of just the most commonly asked questions, I think I did I also did some of the recovery vlogging that as well, so I feel like I've covered a pretty good basis so far. So the first thing is I was very, very nervous about the anaesthetic. And I did talk to so many people who had previously had general anaesthetic, and they kept reassuring me that it's absolutely fine, there's nothing to worry about, but it was just the unknown. And I think, I don't know, maybe I don't know anybody who feels kind of nervous about it, so I guess there was also that element of it as well. Nobody that I spoke to was particularly apprehensive about doing it in the first place, so I guess it was I was coming in from a different mindset in that way, and I was just very nervous about kind of being out of control of my body, if that makes sense. So I was just super nervous about the whole thing, the whole kind of idea of it, but it was just the fact that I didn't know how my body was going to react to it. I didn't know what it was going to feel like, and I didn't like the unknown of it. But genuinely, if you are nervous about it, I promise you it is absolutely fine. It didn't feel super weird at all. I thought I would feel really bizarre beforehand, obviously, they injected it into me, and then and they made me aware of what they were doing, so I guess maybe if you're nervous around needles, then they probably would be a little bit more discreet. But I think that where I was I want to know what's going on, I want to know what is happening as it's happening, they were very responsive of that. And I did feel myself going, but it felt like I was falling asleep. It was really bizarre. Well, to be fair, earlier I said it didn't feel that weird. That was the one slightly weird thing, but I think it didn't feel weird at the time. It's only weird when you kind of talk about it again, if that makes sense. The fact that it did feel like I was falling asleep, and I literally they injected it into me, and then 2 seconds later I literally said out loud, I was like, oh, I'm going. And then for some reason my smell went really weird. I was like, oh, it smells weird. And then I was out, and then the next thing I knew, I woke up in my hospital bed, and I was also really confused about whether I had the surgery done or not, because the nurse came in and she was like, you're done, and she woke me up, and I was like, done? I was like, done, we're actually done. And she was like, yeah. So I think because I was so tired, because that is one thing with anaesthetic, you wake up and you're just out of it. I felt so deliriously exhausted, the most I have ever done in my life. And so I had no idea what was going on. And yeah, you can also see that in my boob job surgery day vlog. I literally filmed like 2 minutes after I woke up or something, very, very quickly. And I literally sound drunk. I am like slurring my words because that's how tired I was. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I guess that's like the whole kind of anesthetic side of things. You don't need to be nervous about it. It's absolutely fine. But obviously there are kind of like elements of it to, I guess, be aware of if you're a little bit nervous. And then the next thing is very, very minor, but I would definitely recommend bringing some like slip-on shoes for afterwards, from leaving the hospital. And we stayed in a hotel, so we literally went outside, got in an Uber, and then yeah, got straight to the hotel. But yeah, I brought trainers with me, which was fine because I had the nurse who put my shoes on for me, like tied them up, everything, because there was no way I was going to be able to do that by myself. One, with how tired I was, and two, with like, I guess like the bending down aspect of it, and also obviously the pain here. So there was no way that would have been able to happen. And then when we got to the hotel, Fraser helped me take them off. But yeah, I think just like slip-on shoes, like slides, or yeah, anything where you don't have to like tie them up or it's not too difficult to pull them on, definitely I would recommend doing that. It just makes the whole process a lot easier, a lot simpler, and you don't really have to like faff around with trying to, you know, get people to help you putting them on or off. And then next up is the sleep aspect of things. So I think I have kind of discussed this a bit before, but you will not sleep at all, really. The first night was up and down, like going to the toilet like a few times, maybe because of how many liquids I was drinking, I don't know, but I just, yeah, I couldn't even get settled either because I had to sleep upright. Yeah, so overall it just wasn't great, and I kept waking up every half an hour. So just be wary about that. Obviously that's not enough to stop you from going through with this if you really want it, but yeah, it's not nice to not sleep basically for the whole night. And then as well on that, actually, you basically won't sleep very well for the first like few nights at least. They got better after that first night. The first night was definitely the worst, but after that it's kind of like you wake up every hour rather than every half an hour. And yeah, again, just really, really horrible. Not a good night's sleep at all. And pretty much for the first week, I'd say, I'd sleep about 4 or 5 hours. And even though I was, you know, going to sleep for like 8-hour periods, I would only sleep for about half of it. So yeah, wasn't great. But I also had, I guess, like issues with my sleeping arrangement, because you have to sleep like basically upright, at least at a 45-degree angle. And I got a reading pillow put up in my bed. I'll show like a photo here of what it looks like. But yeah, that was basically like the best thing that I could do in my situation, because I wouldn't be able to sleep downstairs on the sofa. Like it just wouldn't have worked. We don't really have like the best sofa for that. So yeah, if you can do that, I would probably recommend doing that. I know, like, I spoke to the person who actually referred me to my surgeon, and she said that she did that. She slept on a sofa, and obviously it's still not nice, but I think with the reading pillow in bed, I think it was a little bit too like upright. So yeah, I would probably do that if you're able to. And you are also actually supposed to be sleeping upright for 2 weeks. But after the first week, I complained to my surgeon and said that I just couldn't sleep very well at all. And I was getting about 4 hours of sleep a night. And they said that I was probably all right to, you know, lay down, like obviously flat on my back, and sleep like that. But yeah, I guess it is different for everyone, whether you're able to cope with it or not. And also, obviously, if you are struggling with it, just talk to your surgeon, and they'll be able to like advise the best thing of like whether you should keep going with it or whether you'll be okay. But yeah, that was just what happened with me, and I was so relieved that I didn't have to keep sleeping like that, because yeah, it was just not good. Oh, and also, you won't sleep well because of obviously sleeping upright, but there is the aspect of the pain element of things, which I've said before, it's not actually pain, it's like discomfort pain. And yeah, I was woken up by it quite a few times. It would usually get to about 4 or 5 a.m. where I'd wake up in a lot of discomfort. Yeah, and I just couldn't sleep because of it. So I would basically just take some more painkillers, or ibuprofen, whatever it was, and try my best to get back to sleep. But I also kind of kept forgetting that, because with some of my medication I had to have it on a full stomach, and with my painkillers I didn't, but I kind of kept forgetting that I was able to take them early hours in the morning without, having eaten anything. So there were some times where I just didn't take anything and I just put up with it, which, yeah, I really wish I remembered that I was able to do that. But it's like it's like a little bit complicated, where you have to keep up with so many different, well, I say so many different, 3 different types of medication. You need to take antibiotics for, potential like infections or anything, to prevent that. And then painkillers and like ibuprofen as another kind of form of painkiller, but one that you can obviously get yourself. The other painkillers are like specifically prescribed ones. So yeah, it is a lot of like keeping up with that, and it's quite like you have to do on a bit of a schedule. And I had mine all written down, and I had like in the medications app on my iPhone, I wrote down, like, obviously put in the different medications I was taking, when I needed to take them, and it would remind me, kind of as and when. But yeah, it is a lot to keep up with, because you've got some where it's like take this every 4 hours, but you need to have a full stomach. Some where it's like take it every like 8 hours, or and then you have to kind of like put ibuprofen throughout that. You can only have ibuprofen like 3 times a day, I believe. So it's a lot to kind of organise. But I think once you've got it organised and you stay on top of, taking it at the right times, then you're absolutely fine. And then as well, the aftercare side of things, obviously you've got the, medication that I just mentioned, but you also have to get, with me specifically anyway, I had to get a special like wash that I had to buy from Amazon, and it was like bright pink, and yeah, it smelled very like alcoholic. So I guess it was like very like sterilizing type of wash, and I obviously had to do like my wounds and everything, and then I had to do antiseptic spray in the morning, and then antiseptic cream in the evening, and then obviously like cover with like cotton pads, just so it didn't get like antiseptic cream all over my bra that I was wearing. So yeah, it was kind of a lot of upkeep, and I am still now using like bio oil, so like scar oil basically, and then I've got a scar cream as well that I use. So in general, yeah, just be aware that there is a lot of upkeep. There's a lot of aftercare, a lot of like washing. So I had to have a shower twice a day initially, and then it moved to once a day. Yeah, and now it's like obviously I shower, but I don't like have to use that wash anymore. I don't have to use antiseptic spray or cream or anything. So it's literally just like shower as normal and then use my scar stuff. And finally, the last thing that I wanted to kind of cover is they settled way quicker than I thought they would. So obviously I'm 2.5 months now, but they pretty much like they looked really good from even just a few weeks after. It was just kind of the initial, I'd say a couple of weeks, that they were very solid, very like they didn't move, And yeah, obviously there was like the discomfort side of things as well, but within a few weeks they were like absolutely fine. Like you wouldn't even, you know, kind of like bat an eyelid at them. Like you wouldn't think that they looked super bizarre at all. So yeah, it was just literally the first couple of weeks they were just very like locked in, very solid, very like swollen as well. Yeah, and to be fair, I have settled very quickly. My surgeon, when I went for my checkup at the 4-week mark, he said that I looked like I was about like, you know, 6-7 weeks. And for some people it can take anywhere from like 3 to 6 months to actually like settle properly. And he said that I would definitely be closer to the 3-month mark. So I'm basically almost there, which is very, very cool. But obviously some people, it might take a little bit longer. And it, again, might take a little bit longer in the initial phase. But I think regardless, like, it doesn't take the full 6 months for them to look normal, if that makes sense. And it was also at that appointment for my 4-week checkup that he actually told me that I was able to, you know, go out and like get measured and get bras and everything, which is one thing that I didn't expect to happen. I thought I'd have to wear like my surgery bra until I was fully settled, so until like at least the 3-month mark. But yeah, even from like the first month I've been able to wear like normal underwire bras, get measured up and everything. Yeah, which is very cool. It's definitely not something I expected. Like I said, I thought that I'd have to wear like, yeah, my post-surgery bra for a lot longer than I did. So that is at least one positive element. Yeah, the whole, obviously there's, you know, there's so much work involved with the whole thing, and it's not just you get the surgery done and you're all good to go. There's a lot of aftercare, there's a lot of medication you have to take, and the sleep isn't great, but the results are so worth it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below any questions you have at all. I'd be really happy to answer them. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.